Aloha and welcome to Spirit Chat Radio. Today I want to talk to you about balancing your chakras or chakras. Um, just so that you know, for those of you who may tuned in to just figure out how to balance your chakras, I'm not going to go through an actual balancing chakra technique. I'm going to be talking more about balancing your chakras, what that means, and why I think there's a misconception of everybody focusing on balancing their chakras. I get lots of emails and different comments in my groups as I swear I say this every week, but they're super helpful groups because when people ask me a question, then I like to try to address a lot of people's questions via podcast if I feel like there's enough substance to the question. So this one I thought had enough substance, and I thought it would be very helpful for people who are interested in chakras or are even new to this field, even people who are still in the field, wondering about it. Or if you're wondering about chakras, what the heck are they anyways? I hear about them, but I'm not really sure. If you're one of those people, I'm going to explain to you what a chakra is first, and then we're going to get into more about why I thought that this podcast topic was a good one. Chakras are energy centers and energy points in the body. They're actually they're energy centers and energy points that merge your physical body and your spiritual body together. And that's the meeting point. And a lot of people don't realize that that's kind of what they are. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on with your chakras, but here's the kicker with the chakras. Oftentimes people are really focused on balancing them, opening them, closing them. The heart chakra, the throat chakra, they're like all intrigued about all these different things about them. And I feel like although focusing upon them and knowing about them is a good thing, I feel like people are under the false impression of, or a misconception of, if you focus on them enough, you have a lot of control over them. And here's the thing. Chakras naturally know what to do on their own. They naturally move, close, adjust, open, whatever, naturally, usually on their own. The same as your body digests its food on its own. You can think about it all you want to, but it's still going to happen the way it's going to happen. I like to use those two together because it's kind of very similar. So, for instance, when people are talking about balancing their chakras, I had somebody say that I heard if you balance your chakras that you have a balanced life. Well, basically, it's the other way around. You have a balanced life that will then create a balanced chakra system. So it's not like you go balance your chakras and then it balances out your life. It's actually you kind of balance your energy and then your chakras become balanced. So it's the flip-flop of what people think. And why I like to relate this kind of to things like your digestive system, for instance, is chakras are all dictated by energy movement. Your spiritual body, your energetic body, it all has an energetic flow and an energetic movement to it. And so unless you resist energetic movement, unless you're putting up some blocks, and usually people do this without realizing that they are, and I'm going to explain to you how you block some of your chakras and energetic movement, essentially. When you kind of do that, then you're having an issue. That's what people do, that, and then they block the energetic movement, and then the chakras become affected, type of thing. So let's just relate that to food. I like to do this in a way that it makes sense to people, kind of more you can relate to it. So if you were to go eat all the food that you probably love to eat and eat it all at one time, let's say you're indulging in some of the things that you know doesn't work very well for your tummy. Maybe you are eating fried foods, maybe beans, maybe meat doesn't do well. It may or may not. I'm just pulling some things. You can imagine what does sit well and doesn't sit well in your own world. Like for some people it's dairy, for some people it's oils. Whatever things that you know would kind of upset your tummy, a lot of times people kind of know what that is. They do it anyways, which actually is a little bit more knowledge than you have with your chakras, but like they do it anyways because they just want to enjoy the food or whatever. And then you're going to have a consequence to your tummy is going to react, right? You're going to feel either bloated or you're going to have tummy cramps or it's just going to feel nauseated, just not good, right? You're not going to feel great. And then when you're not feeling great in your tummy, it affects other parts of your life. I like to explain chakras this way to people also, because you need to kind of be maintaining a nice energetic movement and flow. And if you mess with the energetic movement and flow and do things that are not conducive to your chakra system or your body, your spiritual body more, it's going to then reflect in your chakra system. So for instance, how do you screw up your flow or just mess up your energy flow? That would be like messing up your digestive system, right? How do you mess up your energy flow? How do you get blocks? You get blocks by offering resistance. You get blocks by having negativity being in your life or around you. You get blocks by doing things that you don't want to do in life. Basically, anything that causes your tummy to feel in a knot, which is kind of funny, I'm using your tummy again, but relationships or decisions that you make that cause your tummy to feel tense. Anything choices that you make, like let's say you don't like your job or you don't like doing a certain event, but you agreed to do it anyways, and you can feel your body tense, that's all resistance. And when you tense, when your tummy's tensing, or you're feeling upset, or you're feeling sad about something, that all stops that free-flowing movement of energy. And that will then make it kind of bind up in certain places. It could be binding up, let's say that you're really upset about something and sad, it might bind it up in your heart chakra. Let's say because your chakras, there's a lot of energy that are attached to feelings that concentrate out of certain chakras. So you have, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, but you can go look it up. But you have your root chakra and your, you have like solar plex chakra and your throat chakra, and they all kind of heart chakras. They do different things, and your third eye chakra. And so that's where a lot of the concentrated energy comes through, both your spiritual and your physical during at those points. And you can feel energy. Many times people just label it as they feel like it's their emotions. And they are emotions. But that's a physical term for it. But emotions also carry very heavily with them an energetic movement and flow. So anything that you are attaching to your emotions that don't feel so good, like I said, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling upset, if you're feeling hurt, if you're feeling angry, these are all blockers as far as your energetic is concerned, as far as your energetic system and your chakras are concerned. They will all block energy flow. Things that allow movement would be more positive emotions, such as love or happiness or joy or even relaxation. That allows a nice energetic flow throughout your entire body. So when I'm asked things like, okay, if I balance my chakras, will I be more in tune to my intuition? Well, no, it doesn't work like that. I really haven't ever. I'm just trying to think now that I'm doing this podcast. I don't think I've ever, I guess I am not saying it's entirely not possible, but the only time I would think that would be possible, truthfully, is if somebody's using like their third eye chakra as a focal point, but they're still putting in all the work. And then they're like, oh wow, I can feel this sensation and whatever. the sensations of your chakras and all that, I feel like that should not be a focal point of a balanced life. I don't feel like that should be a focal point of a enhancing your abilities. I feel like people look at it backwards. Balanced chakras are a result of a balanced life. Balanced chakras and open chakras are a result of you moving energy nicely and powerfully through your spiritual and physical body. So that is a result of doing other things in your life that is good. It's not like you're gonna, if you really could just balance your chakras or work with a chakra and really have this major, cool, super awesome result, that literally would be so easy. I don't know why anybody would try to put in the work. Like, I really, like, why would you? I even wouldn't. I mean, I don't get why you would spend time trying to figure out all the other aspects of your life or all the other aspects of, developing your intuition and whatnot, if all you had to do is concentrate on rotating and balancing your chakras. Like, then there would be no point, right? So I just feel like people have a misconception and misunderstanding of how all that works. So what you want to do if you want to have balanced chakras is you want to make sure that you're paying more attention to the emotional energy that you're pulling through your being, because that emotional energy is being filtered through your chakras, right? You want to pay attention to that. And you want to make sure that, and don't get me wrong, you are never going to just entirely always feel positive, because we're human and we're here dealing with a lot of other stuff, and we're learning and we're growing, and we are here to experience negativity. So some days you're just going to be a little irritated, right? And on those days, give yourself a break. Like, don't be like, oh my gosh, I'm really screwing up my chakras right now. Don't worry about it. You're a human. What you want to do is, for the most part, for more often than not of your life, or hopefully a little more often than not, like maybe 60-70% of the time, I'd shoot for 70. Like, everybody out there, shoot for 70 at least. I myself am shooting more for 80-90, but I'm an overachiever. So 70% of the time, you want to be pulling in positive energy and filtering that through your chakras. You want to be reflecting that in your spiritual body and your physical body, because it's going to affect your chakras. It's going to affect your physical health eventually. It's going to affect a lot of things in your physical life. It's going to affect your money chi. It's going to affect manifestation stuff. It's going to affect the law of attraction, universal laws, all of that. But to simplify things down, you want to be filtering through and feeding your energetic body and filtering through mostly positive emotions and feelings. If you guys can get that down, you will be shocked at how much things will change for you when you focus upon what you wish to bring into your life or what you desire. It might be more psychic senses stuff. It might be like developing your intuition. It might be more money or more downtime or more family time or whatever. It doesn't even matter. You will be shocked at how much that it will change your life and things that you pull into your life and attract, because you're also then shifting your vibration. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, you guys. You are now shifting your vibration, you're raising your vibration, you're tuning into higher vibration stuff. You then are working with universal laws. If you are mostly filtering and pulling through positive energy, thought, and emotion through your body. It's so ridiculously powerful, I cannot express that enough. And if you do that, you will find that your chakras are mostly balanced. Resentment is a huge deal breaker and blocker for chakras. I felt like that was something that I really wanted to point out there. So negativity, resentment, anger, sadness, frustration, these would be all things that are going to be huge, huge energy blockers. So what do you want to do? You want to basically make good choices in life and pay more attention to the choices that you're making and what emotions that it's causing you to have. Now, I want to make sure that those of you who are listening are really honest with yourself on the choices that you're making, because I do hear often people say, well, I have to make this choice because of this, or so-and-so, or my spouse, or my kids. I don't care who's in your life. When you're dealing with balancing your own chakra system, energetic system, your chakras don't care what your kids or your husband or your boss said. Absolutely do not. That doesn't even make any sense. You need to take responsibility for making sure that, let's say you're going to align yourself with some choices that were conducive to your family in a way that you felt, okay, well, I'm not really down with this, but I feel like it's the best thing for us to do right now, whatever, just for example. Then you need to get on board with that decision in a way that you're comfortable with, or you have positive feelings, or at least neutral feelings in alignment with. Because if you can align your feelings to where you're at least not experiencing the negativity and the resentment, anger, sadness, frustration, like I was talking about, if you can at least make sure that the feelings are not coming through on a negative level, then you've done good. Okay? So whatever choices that you're making in life right now, you really need to have an attitude check, I would say, for any of you who want to balance your chakras or try to balance the energy in your life. You really need to make sure that you kind of do an attitude check and you start paying attention to your perception of the situations that you put yourself in life. Your attitude towards your job. If you're not loving it and you're going to stay there, then you need an attitude adjustment. You need to figure out how to shift your perspective in a way that you're seeing the positives about the job. You really need to align yourself with the good aspects of it. If it's an event that you're going to, but you've already committed to it, you either need to back out or you need to fully commit in and go, okay, I'm going to figure out how that I am thinking of this positively. I actually had that happen to me not very long ago. I went to an event that I was invited to, and I was surrounded by a lot of people that it made me very, very edgy. And I left the event after a while. I was there for a few hours, and I was thinking to myself for a minute, I really just spent 2 hours of my life doing this. Like, I could have done so many other things. And I felt a little edgy that I had just spent 2 hours and it made me feel this edgy way. So now I'm feeling edgy about feeling edgy. And on the way home, I gave myself an attitude adjustment. I thought, you know what, that's ridiculous. I need to think of what cool, good things came out of this. And so I started thinking of all this really cool stuff that actually was there too. But for some reason, my focus at that moment was on the edginess, right? So I went through and was like, I got to spend this 2 hours with my family, and then we actually had a really good dinner, and I started thinking of all these really cool things that happened that I would have missed had I not gone. So it happens to me just as well as it happens to anybody else. Sometimes we do things or make choices where we're like, wow, this totally didn't turn out the way that I was hoping. But I know myself well enough to know how my energy and thought process affects my life, and I'm very, very super conscious of it. And when I start to get on a negative thought train, which is what I call it, I'm very conscientious about shifting it as soon as I notice that I'm doing it, and I usually notice fairly quickly because I'm in a good mood most of the time. And so if I find that I'm getting cranky or edgy, I will self-check immediately because I don't like myself that way. Like, I'm not really loving to hang out with me when I'm like that, so I have to make an adjustment, and it's something that I'm just very conscientious of. And so I will search whatever choice or situation that I'm in, and I'll be like, okay, Well, there must be a reason this is happening that I'm not seeing. Maybe I'm supposed to shift directions and I wasn't aware of it because maybe I was ignoring it. Or something really cool might happen and I don't really know what it is yet because it hasn't happened yet. So, and it's gotten to where I can iron out my energy flow fairly quickly, and that would be some good tips for you to help you iron out your energy flow. I don't think it's. I think it. Well, it is and it isn't. It's a trained behavior and it's not, because it is just naturally how I'm kind of wired. I'm kind of wired to just sort of, I think, feel more positive mostly. But I did have to train myself because there were parts in my life that I remember where I would start feeling very frustrated or things were going a certain way for a really long time, and I'd be like, why is this happening right now? Why is this? Why? Do I feel like, the world is against you? Everybody feels like that for a minute. But, allow yourself some time to do that for a minute. But for the most part, catch yourself, redirect your thought process. That will smooth out your energetic system, and that will align and balance your chakras. Actually, it won't align and balance. It will allow them to align and balance naturally. It's kind of similar to, I'm sure you guys have heard of this, or if you haven't, it's really interesting. Most doctors that will say and tell you, or I actually had a conversation with a doctor several years ago where he was telling me, I don't heal my clients heal themselves. I treat the symptoms. And he goes, but you can't really tell, or patients, you can't really tell your patients that because they don't want to know that they're healing themselves because they don't believe that they're healing themselves. It's the same as all those placebo things that I'm sure that you guys are aware of, at least a few of them, where they've given people placebos and given them maybe a high blood pressure medicine or something like that, and then the controlled group went down just as much as the other group because they thought that they were getting something. The body, surgeries, that was another thing. I remember a really famous one of knee surgeries where they took 40 patients in Europe, and they did 20 and 20 or whatever. They made the patients feel like they had a surgery by, bundling up their leg and everything, and the other ones got surgery, and they literally recovered at the same rate. It was crazy. So the body, the physical body, naturally heals itself as long as you don't offer resistance. This is known by a lot of my doctor friends, or friends that I know who are doctors. It's kind of actually known pretty well in the industry. But they can't really, like I said, patients a lot of times wouldn't believe it anyways. The energetic body also naturally knows how to be healthy. It naturally knows as long as you don't offer resistance. So with energetic body, resistance comes in forms of what I was saying, negativity, resentment, anger, sadness, and frustration. That's where resistance will lie most often. And if you can really get a handle on that, you're going to notice a lot of really cool changes going on. And the interesting thing, to take it one step further, is the spiritual body dictates your physical body's health. It moves and instructs your cells. So that's another food for thought that's very interesting. Usually your energetic body will have a sickness or a blockage or whatever first, and you will tend to ignore it and ignore it and ignore it. And the more that you ignore it, then it'll go, okay, well, you won't ignore this, and then it manifests into your physical body, because also that's the part of your body that, it's directing those cells. So hopefully you found this helpful. I just want everybody to have a very good understanding when they're dealing with chakras, that chakras are pretty freaking amazing. Your energetic body is pretty dang amazing. Your third eye, I have a lot of questions about that. It's all amazing, and it naturally will open and close and adjust as long as you're not resisting. You focusing upon it will usually only bring you frustration, because focusing upon the open, closing, and adjustment is not actually open and closing and adjusting anything. That'd be like you focusing on your digestive system. Like going, okay, I'm going to eat this thing that always makes, like, for me, like, I don't do well with dairy. Let's just say I decided, okay, I'm going to eat this dairy, and I'm going to really focus that my digestive system is going to get this down and react a certain way that it's perfect and amazing, and I'm going to feel great. How many of you think that would work out very well? Like, it doesn't even, like, really, it doesn't make sense, right, when you say it that way. But you can focus upon your digestive system all you want to. You can tell it to digest your food and do it flawlessly and wonderfully, and it's just going to do what it's going to do. So I would rather see you guys, it's way more effective to see you spend your time focusing on what you're feeding your energetic system. Just like focusing on what you're feeding your tummy, what you're feeding your physical digestive system. Pay more attention to that. Pay more attention to those emotions and feelings that you're feeding your energetic body, hence your chakras. Because your chakras are the ones that kind of digest those emotions and filter them out through your physical body. Because, like I said, that's where your spiritual body and your physical body attach. That's where they merge together. So that's where things move from the spiritual to the physical. And that's why, that's how your third eye works with that as well. It brings information through the third eye chakra, and it brings it into your brain as pictures, or your hearing, or whatever, if that makes sense. So imagine that as your spiritual digestive system, but you have control. You have control over what you're feeding it. And that is really important, and you need to take that seriously. And once you do, like I said, you're going to see some really, really, truly amazing results. Anyways, I hope that you found this helpful. I think that the information was warranted a podcast after I keep getting questions about that. I hope you enjoyed it. And I just want to leave you with a few thoughts. Don't forget to stop over to my website, keystothespiritworld.com, if you're not in my Higher Purpose Learning Group, and or if you want to be on my email list, because I always send out special things exclusive to the email newsletter sometimes. So you definitely want to be on there. There'll be a pop-up or something if you want to get on there. But anyways, you can get on my Higher Purpose Learning Group, my Facebook group, by going there. Top right corner, it says Spirit Community in the drop-down. Click on that. It's a private group, though, so you need to be accepted. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel or iTunes, wherever you're listening to this podcast, if you want to keep up to date and informed, because I'm trying to, get that information out to you guys, keep you guys well informed of everything that I can think of anyways. All right. Have the most amazing day. Aloha.
Black Friday is coming, and for the adults in your life who love the coolest toys, well, there's something for them this year too. Bartesian is the premier craft cocktail maker that automatically makes more than 60 seasonal and classic cocktails, each in under 30 seconds at the push of a button. And right now, Bartesian is having a huge site-wide sale. You can get $100 off any cocktail maker or cocktail maker bundle when you spend $400 or more. So, if the cocktail lover in your life has been good this year, or the right kind of bad, get them Bartesian. At the push of a button, make bar-quality cosmopolitans, martinis, Manhattans, and more. All in just 30 seconds. All for $100 off. Amazing toys aren't just for kids. Get $100 off a cocktail maker when you spend $400 through Cyber Monday. Visit bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. And now I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free and each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.